I'm sleeping in my slumber. I wake up to a sharp pain. He's clamping onto my nipple, trying to suck milk out of it. He thinks I'm his mum still. I'm like, grow up, you're too old for this. It's embarrassing.
No more milk.
Yeah, literally, it hurts. He's got sharp teeth. I'm like, and my nipple starts bleeding. I'm like, please leave me alone. So that's pretty much. Now we can start recording.
Well, so we can start on the cat content, I guess.
Well, we can start from now. Hi.
Thanks for the story.
That's all right. You don't get to hear it because it's not appropriate for the channel.
It's not very channel appropriate.
No trigger warnings would be able to.
No.
But
So there's a lot more to it, but this is the abridged version.
But you are a cat parent.
Yes. Parent of 3 cats. One of them is...
3?
Yeah, I've got 2 kittens and Big Cat.
When?
You know we had the kittens, yeah?
Yeah.
So we got 2 kittens.
Yeah.
And then the Big Cat's Katie's old cat.
Oh, no, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the one she's had for like 2 years.
No.
So you stole her other cat?
Yeah, well, he's the one that caused trouble. He's the one who got kicked out of the other house because he kept killing all the animals.
Kicked out the Conservative
And guess what?
Party.
Guess what I found in my bed? Oh, anyway, guess where we're going to first story. A toilet story. It's relevant. I'm on the toilet as I am at
It's been ages since we podcasted.
Yeah.
The first thing you want to talk about is a toilet story.
I was on the toilet at midnight and suddenly I hear thumping. I was like, what's going on? I look around. Cat charges through the door with a dead robin in his mouth. Throws on the floor next to my foot.
Obviously wants to impress you then.
I was like, I'm busy. And then he's just like, yeah. Smacks it. Kept throwing it against my leg. I was like, this is not very nice. And then I threw it outside. Anyway, next day, I was like, obviously I'm not going to like bin it. So I threw it outside in the garden. Next day, come back. I was like, oh, no robin. Fantastic. It's in my bedroom. So I threw it in the neighbour's garden.
You know, they do that when they think you're not capable of looking after yourself sometimes, you know?
Probably valid. Let's be honest. Probably valid.
There's multiple reasons why cats bring you gifts or just stuff in general.
Well, this is one that keeps sucking milk out of my nipple. Or trying to. I want to clarify, no milk has come out.
Okay, so it's trying to use...
He thinks I'm his mum. Which is kind of cute, but also a bit disturbing as well. Do I look like a mummy to you?
Do you want to answer that?
Look, before we do the official show launch, because we should probably get back to that classic format of little preamble, intro, then episode.
Yes.
Everyone doing all right? I haven't seen you both properly in a long time.
Yeah, I'm all right. You're all right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You're right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
A bit warm, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
What, in here, you mean?
Just in general.
I'd
just
say
warm
every
weather.
day.
It's 23 degrees today and you're in joggers.
Fight me.
To be fair, you're not sweating, so I mean, I've bought a brand new little couch.
I'm not actually a very sweaty person.
Clearly not big enough. It's clearly not big enough for you two.
Or maybe we're just too big for the couch.
Maybe
the couch isn't too small. We're too big. Say yes.
We are recording from my office/studio now, as I've decided it's just far easier for me to keep everything set up in here.
It's a sick setup as well.
It's very nice, and there are also shoes over there, but you can't see them.
Yeah, so that behind the camera there is a full wall of trainers and other bits, but there's about 100 pairs of trainers.
That's how he's going to afford a hair transplant in 10 years for all of us when we all lose our hair.
I mean, I could sell 1 or 2 to cover a cost of a hair transplant, probably.
You heard it here. You want to rob anyone?
Let's get address in the bio.
Yeah.
There you go.
Please come to this location.
But yeah, I've been writing a lot of music of late, so I needed a good vibe for it.
I like it.
So I've got my...
I like that picture as well.
Yes, there you go. I mean, it's not really helping anyone visually who can't see that.
Or anyone, just listening.
I like this picture too.
Yeah.
I like the thing you're pointing at, yep.
Yeah, we had to...
fiction.
I mean, I had that sign made. We had to make some good use out of it, obviously, which is the main reason we're back recording today, because we do need to get better at podcasting again.
Yeah, I had a few messages literally a week and a half ago saying, when's the episode coming? I was like, that's a great question. Yeah. Very soon.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, literally, I'll let you know.
I mean, the fact that you're listening to it now means it's happened.
It's come. The episode has come.
It has happened, yeah. But what do we want to talk about today? What have you guys got anything in mind, or do you want me to throw up some stuff, some sauce?
Mike's opening a gym. Chris and I are unstable, and the weather's too hot. Done.
I would also like to say I think I'm a bit unstable.
We're all unstable
because of the first reason.
Mike's unstable because he's opening a gym.
Yeah, don't do it.
We're unstable because Mike's unstable.
I'll launch into my revelation at the beginning of the episode, I guess. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know if there's much else to say. And interesting, I always make notes between shows when things come up and I think they're worth talking about. Like, so I started using ChatGPT, as everyone is now.
Big fan.
I've not used it yet.
Oh, we use it for everything.
I refuse to conform to technology.
Well, I wasn't sure in which ways I could use it, but I found many ways in which I can use it for my work now, which is quite useful.
Will it make me a thumbnail for YouTube?
Yeah, so
Mid-Journey.
So interesting story about AI and that. You know my good friend Ryan, big body Ryan. He's really into like kind of nerdy shit, and he messaged me the other day talking about TikTok. He's doing quite well on TikTok personally. But then he also said, I've set up this new account that's just like snowballed out of nowhere. I was like, okay. And I said, what is it? He said, look up an account called The Story of Me, it's called. Like, okay, so I looked it up, and all it is these videos, these AI videos of famous people, either historical or just famous in general, speaking the story of themselves, and it's all generated by AI. And
oh wow!
And I'm like, and hang on, I said, what's this got to do with you?
That must be really easy to do.
He said, I saw other people doing it, and they're doing a really crap job of it. And I thought, I could do that way better. So he's basically created this ridiculous TikTok account called The Story of Me, and it's got like stupid amounts of views and followers, and he basically uses it to do it really well. He uses like 4 different AI engines: a visual one, a voice copying one, a script one, and he combines it all together to make these really amazing like videos.
So cool.
Just, I mean, look it up. But it's like, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't understand what you're going to benefit from.
Because he can.
But also, he's convinced that in America they've started monetizing TikTok the same way YouTube kind of works. So people are actually going to start making quite good money out of TikTok.
I don't know if they are though, because I had a chat with management about this literally 2 weeks ago, and they said TikTok money is like a penny per something views.
But apparently that's what Ryan said. That's how it is in this country currently. But there's a beta platform in America and France apparently where people are making like loads more than that. I don't know because
YouTube said they were going to get on the shorts hype and start monetizing shorts like TikToks, but YouTube money didn't work.
No.
So they didn't put any money into it. So I think some guy got like 20 million views.
What's going to happen with TikTok if the Americans actually go through with banning it? Because didn't one of the states actually? I think one of the states was trying to push through. Like,
it's banned in India.
They banned you to download it. If you already had it, you couldn't get any trouble. But if you tried to download it, you'd get in trouble.
So interesting. So I started using it for work because I kind of build websites for people, and sometimes I have to write about things I don't know anything about. So I asked ChatGPT for the information. But I also, you can ask it anything. So the other day I was like, write me a leg workout, and it wrote me a really good leg workout. So if you wanted to,
that's quite funny actually.
You can. So I've got it here. It's like just written me this like. Hang on, where's it gone?
I did this the other day. The sales manager was like, "Can you write an email?"
So the leg workout consists of 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps barbell squats, and it even has like a description of positioning. Then Romanian deadlifts. Then we've got leg press, walking lunges, finishing with calf raises. I mean, it's quite basic.
That's not it bad. Wrote me that. So I put in write me a hypertrophy workout for 4 weeks, it did a very similar one. But it's
not bad.
Well, yeah,
bit excessive volume.
So the sales manager of the gym that I'm working with was like, we need to write a quick like thank you email and a sales script, and I was like, I don't really have time to do that, so I just went on ChatGPT and just put it in. Idea. Then I copied it, put it back in, and said refine this email, make it a bit more informal but to the point, and then it refined it more, and you can just keep refining it.
That's a really good idea,
but it takes 30 seconds.
That's actually very good. And
then people are like, is it cheating? It's like, no, you're just making your way more efficient at your job.
You're utilising technology to make your life easier,
so you can get on with the stuff. I
just asked ChatGPT what it could tell me about YouTube channel TFNL, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, it can't tell me anything about YouTube.
Why don't ask it what we should talk about in our podcast episode?
I don't really think that's going to help.
I will see what comes up. So
you should ask it something like a good podcast topic.
Oh yeah,
like top 3
What
podcasts.
is a good podcast topic for a fitness podcast?
Yeah, and let's see what it says, and let's see if we can answer it.
Okay, provide 3
love and affection
topics for a fitness and health podcast.
Health.
This is what look at us.
Okay, so we have unlocking the secrets of healthy living.
I don't know.
Such as nutrition, exercise, and mental well-being.
Oh,
that's that one. Number 2,
we are not
fitness for all, embracing inclusivity and diversity in health and wellness. So like diversity, it's covering there.
Like the famous dance group.
The science of peak performance, training methods, recovery strategies, and performance optimization.
It's the most general 3 topics.
It's pretty. Yeah,
I mean,
not bad.
What do you expect? I can get it to go again and give us more detail or something.
Do that.
Yeah, do again.
We're not going to just sit and. So we can't do it.
Has anyone got anything else to do?
Not us.
What else did I see recently? Balenciaga, famous fashion brand, brought out a lifting belt and called it a belt. I don't know if you've seen this.
How much did it cost?
No, I have not.
Go on, how much is it? Tell me. Go on, how many hundreds? If it doesn't begin with a 7, I don't believe it.
So and then there was a video of a powerlifting guy testing it who'd bought it and tested it as a powerlifting belt.
Wait, so it's actually a lifting belt?
Yeah, but it's a fashion belt that looks like a lifting belt.
Oh, I thought it was actually a lifting belt. I was like, wow,
Oh,
great.
so, wow. See, IPF approved.
Here we go. So this is the Balenciaga Force Belt, as it's called. So it's £1,150.
What powerlifter can afford that to test?
Yeah.
Not
I don't
me.
know. Have you seen the gear that they buy? They buy
Yeah.
everything in every colourway.
So here it is.
Really
This is the official Balenciaga website.
That is ratemylid.com.
My schlid.
Here's the belt. Here's the belt. Look, good little buckle on it.
It actually does look like a lifting belt. How thick is it?
Not good for belt flick, though, is it?
Yeah, valid. No, it would be livid.
No.
It's 4.3 inches. It's vegetal calf skin, whatever that is. Nice little logo on it. 20 notches, if that's all right for you.
20.
Made in Italy, obviously that's essential. 100% calf skin. So there you go.
That's what I look for on a belt, to be fair.
Surely you could buy a calf for less than £1,000 and do it yourself.
A calf.
Yeah, calf. Little calf.
Are you going to start making TFNL leathers?
No, that's not very nice. I might do TFNL haircuts though.
How would that work?
See, come to my house and give you a trim like that. That was wild.
Okay.
Died and all.
I did want to talk about. I was going to suggest we start talking about documentaries that I'd seen. Remember, I messaged you guys the other day about that desert marathon that I saw that woman do.
Yes.
So I think that might be a cool thing for future episodes. Maybe if we watch some like cool stuff.
Like a book club. Like we'll all
like
watch.
a book club.
We'll
we all watch
it.
the same
Yeah.
documentary and discuss it. I don't know. I think that might be quite a cool little kind of.
Blackfish.
What's that?
It's one about killer whales in SeaWorld.
Yeah,
Killing people.
I was thinking more fitness related as opposed to just like kind of like.
No, this is training.
Tell me more.
An orca kills multiple people because they lock it in a small cage and then question why it's being angry.
So I don't need to watch it then.
No, it basically just kills a few people. And it's actually quite graphic. It tells them what
really?
it does. Yes, and it plays with them. One of them kept drowning someone. When he was about to drown, let it go. And then when he could get to the air, back drowned again. And we was about to
They're
die.
quite smart.
Very exceptionally smart. And then they're like, "Oh, why are they doing this?" It's like because you locked him in a cage.
Yeah.
And he's livid because the cage is like this big.
Yeah.
They sleep in I think they're like 16 foot long. They sleep in a 20-foot pen. It's like you can't move. I'm like, yeah, no wonder it's pissed off with you. I'd be livid too. I'd drown all of you. Just saying. To clarify, that's not true. I would not do that. I'm a nice man.
I saw a good question post on social media the other day in another podcast, and I thought it'd be an interesting one to ask you two. Okay, so here's the situation. You've got 24 hours, and you've got to do the 4 things, and you can't do the next thing until you've completed them, and you can choose whatever order you do them. Okay, and so you have to do them in the amount of 24, 18, 12, and 6. So the things you have to do are eat donuts, so eat 6, 12, 18 or 24 donuts, wanks, 6, and then you've got to do this within 24 hours. 6, 12, 18. Beers, obviously, going to be a tricky one first, and kilometres run. And so what order? You've got 24 hours to do all of this, and you can't start one until you've done the other.
Easy.
I think I got my order.
Easy. 24 wanks, 100%.
How are you going to get that?
I was going to say 24 donuts.
No, I was thinking 6 beers because I drank, so I might as well do the lesser number. What was it? Wanks, run, and something else.
Runs in kilometre run, wanks, donuts.
Okay, so 6 beers. I reckon 12 wanks.
So you've got to drink the 6 beers, and then you're going to be a bit drunk. Though is that not going to affect how you do the rest?
Didn't say
of
the
it?
percentage of alcohol volume in the beer.
Fine.
So 12 donuts. 12 wanks, 18 donuts, 24 kilometre run.
You're going to do 24 kilometre run?
Yeah, 100%. Trust it.
No,
Easy.
donuts.
Trust, you didn't say
beer.
Trust, I could do that. I reckon in easy, no time.
Probably go donuts, wank, beer, run, because then I'm drunk for the run. And I used to do that a lot when I was at uni.
You've got to do 12 wanks. You're going to be puffing out like dust.
Or
at the end of the day,
he does.
No, that's my order. I would go donuts. Wait, what was it? Donuts, wanks, beer, run.
You want 18 beers?
18 beers?
I'm doing 6 beers.
Wait, hang on a minute.
Violently sick.
6 donuts, 12 wanks, 18 beers, 24 kilometre run. You could do one amount of each. 6, 12, 18, 24.
Yeah, no, I'd eat the most donuts. That's what I'd do.
So you do 24 donuts?
24 donuts.
So you can do that at the end?
And then I would do the wanks, then the beer, and then the run is the smallest number for me.
Yeah, but you've got to do them in ascending order.
Okay, so I'd run first.
So you do 6
You're
kilometre
really
run?
choosing 6 kilometre run? That's minor.
That's a bit...
I'll do that now.
Yeah, but... Okay, go on then.
No, don't do that.
No, that's milder. That's what I do.
Can I use Vaseline for the run because I chafe pretty bad?
I think you can use Vaseline for the wanks.
I think you just need to cover yourself with Vaseline for everything. All of it. The donuts.
Vaseline for all of it. Yeah.
Can I get to choose what flavour donuts there are? And like,
yeah, I'm not first.
No.
And how big are they?
Krispy Kreme.
Oh, wow.
Easy. Yeah, bang out 18.
48. That's great. I'll eat your donuts if you want.
Do you think you could do a tray of 12 Krispy Kremes? Just like
I can.
In one go.
Yeah.
I probably could, but I'd probably be sick.
Okay.
I've done that.
We'll save that for another episode then.
I have done that already.
Yeah, I mean,
longer than an hour.
I've got a lot of other random shit that I've thought about, but we should probably just get on with the episode, I suppose.
Play.
Hang on, I'm not ready yet. I think, is that right?
Play.
Yeah, sorry, play. We are back.
I'm sweating.
I am as well.
Yeah,
I'm sweating on my brand new sofa.
No, I just stopped myself.
Your sofa's sweaty on us.
Okay, welcome back, and this time we are in my studio, in my house, and I've got you two oiks sat on my lovely new sofa, sweating all over it.
I'm sliding down the sofa to give me more room.
It's the Vaseline.
Yeah, I mean,
if I sit upright, I'll be
very much my fault for buying a small velour sofa for you to sit on, but what can I do about that now? Yeah, but it's lovely to be back. It's been a little bit of hiatus for us. I don't know why. We've just been busy living our lives and doing other things. Is that right, chaps?
Yes,
correct.
Anyway, just to formally reintroduce, if you're not familiar with us already, I'm Christy Fellows. That is Harry TFNL. Moore. Harry Moore is his full name, and Michael Carter over there.
Stop adding me on Facebook. I'll see you.
Who's adding you on
I see
Facebook?
random people adding me. Most of them are porn bots, to be honest.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't even look at Facebook anymore. Really.
Neither do I. I've muted it. It's really annoying. He's telling me, "Oh, you might be interested in this update from this person." I was like, "I haven't seen this person for 12 years."
I'd quite like to just delete myself off Facebook completely, but I feel like sometimes I need it for like worky things.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same.
But like, do you remember there was a time when, I mean, young people won't get this, but we would go out, take loads of photographs, and then upload.
The album.
The whole photograph.
I literally saw a meme earlier, like a few hours ago, saying, "Do you remember the days when you used to go to a night out and upload all 90 photos to an album the next day?"
Yeah.
Kids will never understand.
Bebo.
I was like,
MySpace.
I mean, why did we do that?
Because we thought people cared about what we were doing.
I think now
didn't.
people just post it on stories and it's gone within 24 hours, don't they?
Which is
because I didn't want to see it the
perfect.
first time. I don't want to see it forever.
Yeah, true.
Some people film fireworks, like you're never going to watch that. Why are you bothering?
Plus, if you're going to play fireworks, you throw them at people. Like each other, I mean. Clarify, not just randoms.
So, moving swiftly on, what are we talking about today? You did say it was Mental Health Awareness Month.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure I can't keep up anymore.
I mean,
but I thought it was like Men's Mental Health Month. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
I feel like it should just be a constant awareness anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so in the space of the last 2 weeks, I've come to a realization that I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. I'm going to go through the process of getting it diagnosed and stuff, but I thought we could talk about that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
What else should we talk about? Were there any other actual useful fitness stuff that we could talk about that you can think of? I'll throw one out there if you want.
Mike opening a gym.
Well, that's interesting in itself. If Mike wants to talk about it.
Because he's got opening potential date we can get to come see.
Yeah, but hang on. We've got different gyms in play here. One's in Watford, and I'm not, as much as I love you, Michael, I'm not necessarily driving to Watford.
That's not his gym though.
No, that's
his
part
gym's
of the same
down the road from here.
Similar investors.
And the other, do we have you're not going to voice the location of the gym yet?
He's put it on social media.
Yeah, it's in Maidenhead.
Right, so there's a new gym opening in Maidenhead.
I didn't realise where it was exactly because I walked past.
It's like town centre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's where. Remember Big Tom, who went from East Park, went to the other gym in Maidenhead? That closed down and Mike's taken the building. Is that the right one? Yeah, he's taking the building. Got a good deal, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, good.
Stitch him up.
Well, it's shut down anyway, so.
I think it was just a moment in time where the people that had the building didn't want to have the building anymore, and we were looking for somewhere to get started ASAP. So
it's quite long, isn't it? It's quite a long building.
It's one of those situations where, is it the perfect size? No.
Yeah,
but it gets the business open this year with the view to get another gym open as quickly as possible.
That'd be good.
So it's like a slingshot. We kind of step back slightly to go further.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's very exciting, and I'd love a new gym to go to, frankly.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. So once I know a bit more about things, and we're going to do a whole documentary series on it all. So
is it going to be Netflix documentary?
I wish it would be that good. That
Pulp Fiction documentary.
Pump to survive or
Pump
whatever.
to survive.
Pump.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. But I'll see what Max has come up with.
That sounds like a zombie movie. Pump to survive. You're gonna get a sick pump to stop the zombies from killing you.
I mean,
No one take that idea. That's mine.
that's
Trademark. Oh, we did trademark Barber Lounge now.
Oh, good.
We do have an actual trademark on it.
round the corner from here. There's a barber shop called Barber Lounge.
I saw that. I know on the Shepherd's Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. I literally drove past it. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
maybe that should be. You could have a barber lounge within Barbell Lounge. Get a haircut after you've done your workout.
We had someone called Barbell Mate, I think, messaged us on Instagram.
What do they say?
It's one of those trackers you put on a barbell that measures velocity.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah.
And I was like,
what do they want from you, though?
I don't know.
Is that a metric people are obsessed with?
Some people, in,
are.
like athletics and stuff.
I'm not going to lie, I don't think the tech's reliable enough yet. At like that price point. If you get a force plate and spend like 10 grand on something different, but when you're spending like
for your average gym
£100,
goer, who's really going to be
no one yet. It's like if you're kind of like
That's
top end athlete,
drilling down into like
that.
proper like Olympic like training stuff.
I just don't think most people need that level of detail.
Yeah, even I mean,
If I'm honest.
like no, but unless you're in the Olympics, you probably don't.
No.
Do you think? Okay, so this is a potential topic for discussion, seeing as we've stumbled across it. But do you think that people put too much weight on attention to detail with their training? Like some people obsess over the numbers and the minute details too much instead of just training.
Yeah, I think so. To a lot, it depends on the like. For example, bodybuilding, like hypertrophy realm, you look at people who are painfully obsessed with like optimize every movement, but they just don't train hard. It's like, well, you're not really going to see results. Train hard, just give it the beans, and then you can worry. You earn the right to worry about minor details once you've given it the beans.
I do. I mean, we've probably said this on previous shows, but I do worry sometimes that I look around the gym and I don't see people like struggling, and I know that,
and they'll look the same for years to come.
And I know that struggling isn't like a benchmark of how well you're training, but when I leave the gym, I usually feel pretty broken in a good way.
Yeah, I feel like crap.
And also when I'm finishing a set, sometimes I will make a little bit of noise because it's kind of hard, and I look around at some of the younger people who are really optimal in their way they're training, and I feel like, I don't know, they just look a bit too fresh all the time.
Yeah, I think ultimately that you ever look around the gym, you look at someone who's training perfectly versus someone who's training like crap, is training exceptionally hard. Guess who's bigger? Probably the person who's training really hard. Like, go to any like grotty gym, and it's usually full of massive people who externally just don't really look like they know what they're doing, because they're just lifting with horrendous form, doing some wild movements, and you're thinking that's not very effective. But you're massive because I know you're training to the point where you could not move if you tried.
It's a funny thing about how the fact that, like, even if you train with shit form, you're still going to make progress.
You've got to use some muscle to do it. It may not be the muscles you're hoping to use, but you're using something. Traps are just like up here.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just, like Chris said, they just get lost in the weeds a little bit, and I do think people use it as an excuse. It's like, I don't want to push myself because I need to get this perfect.
I back it. I back that. I reckon people are just too scared to train hard.
Just try harder. You're not close enough to failure.
Don't be afraid to like push harder, basically.
Yeah. I think
that's great advice in general.
Yeah.
I think there's this idea of like, you have to do one or the other. I think ideally you should train really well, but also exceptionally hard as well. But if you had to choose one, I'd always choose intensity over optimization.
That's like the Goldilocks zone, isn't it?
Yeah,
good form with the right intensity. But if you had to pick one or the other,
intensity is the biggest driver.
Yeah, but as long as you're not the person on the lat pull down who keeps pulling it to the point where you're pushing it down.
Yeah, muscle up pull downs. I like it. I respect it. Maybe I should do that.
No, because it breaks the bloody machine when they pull the stack up and it smashes the top of the thing.
Guess who's laughing when the zombies are chasing me and I'm muscle upping over fences?
As long as it's on a cable machine.
Yeah, with limited resistance, that isn't enough for my body weight. Just want to clarify.
The muscle up has to be the ultimate gym bro maneuver, like, because let's be honest, like, we're all pretty strong guys, we've all pulled some good weights and stuff, but we've probably never done a lot of muscle ups, right? Have you done any muscle ups?
I've done a muscle up a bit. It's more of a thug up because it's just brute.
That kind of, yeah. And I've never done one. I've never really put much effort into trying it, but I feel like it's just more technique than anything.
It's all in the hips.
And yet it seems to be like this thing that gym bros like to do in the gym just to be seen doing.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks if you do a muscle up, you're something like some exceptionally talented athlete, when in reality it's like, how much you bench?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Shut up. Look at your legs.
Yeah, if you weigh a lot, you're not doing as many.
Yeah.
Change my mind.
That's true. If your legs are big enough, then you shouldn't be able to do that many.
Yeah, you're just too heavy.
Unless you're built different, in which case, I don't like you.
There's a woman on Instagram who seems to specialise in muscle ups. Like, she can do it super slow, which is brilliant.
That's mad impressive.
Her name's Megan Calloway. Worth checking out if you want to see someone who's an expert in doing muscle ups, like at the speed of nothing, with weights attached to her legs and stuff.
That sounds like something that's going to make me sad.
But yeah, check out Megan Calloway. She's pretty good. She's very knowledgeable, actually. She's worth following, I'd probably say. But yeah, so there you go. That's kind of topic number 1 covered there. But going back to Mental Health Awareness Month, shall I look that up before we persevere with that?
Yeah, maybe. It's either this month.
Dates.
Yeah, Men's Mental Health Month. Search that.
I do feel like it is this month purely because I think we were chatting and then I had an advert sponsor that.
That's what I think. That's what I thought.
And I was like, oh.
Hang on, what have we got?
I think, is it Pride Month this month?
I feel bad.
We are in Pride Month.
Then it is Men's Mental Health Month. It's the same month, because I remember all these TikToks saying, oh, everyone's talking about Pride, but no one cares about men's mental health. It's like, well, why can't you care about both? Like, why do you have to choose sides? Why can't they both be equally important?
I mean,
don't they also overlap as well?
Also, why focus on the narrative of what? Just talk about it. Don't care about.
That's like me saying, oh, it's Christmas today. It's also my birthday. You could have one. You can celebrate both. They're both important dates.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of awareness months and weeks and days and stuff. I just feel like if something needs to be made aware, we should just be better at making it aware.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the ultimate goal, but it's just, I guess, we are where we need to vocalise making an effort about something. But here we are making an effort about it.
And vocalise it.
So about 2 weeks ago, I was on Instagram, as I often am for work and just general, like, doom scrolling.
Toilet scrolling.
And this reel came up, and it was this girl in her car talking about things. The subject was, and I can find it and we can mention it, and I'd actually think it might be good to get her on the show potentially.
Would she get on the show?
It was personality traits that you thought were personality traits but are actually symptoms of ADHD. And she read through these like 5 different things, and every single one of them was me. And I was like, oh. It's like this bizarre penny dropping moment that I've probably not had in, like, I can't remember, but it was just like, and I sent it to a few people that know me, and they were like, yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of it took me quite a while to kind of process it. And the more, obviously, the way the algorithm works, you watch one video about a subject, it then spoon feeds you loads of other stuff. So therefore I started seeing all these other videos about symptoms and so on and so forth and characteristics, and like 80% of them were like stuff that I'm like, and I could, and I was just like, oh. And I was like, it's been a kind of a strange thing to absorb, because then I started, so like some of them are like, for example, one of them was you're really keen for people to like you, and you get very down and you struggle when someone doesn't like you, and you kind of and that I'd never really perceived that as being like I mean, I don't know, there's obviously
I've not heard that one, but
symptoms, I mean it's hard to know, there's loads of different things, and then I thought back to previous friendships that I've had that have been problematic, and then I've struggled, or like how I get when I don't get on with people, which I'm usually pretty good with people. One of the things is you're a social chameleon, which is something I've always considered myself to be able to, and you're like a bit of a centre of attention character, which is very much me as well. So some of those kind of personality traits I thought was like, this is kind of eerily, strangely like myself.
Have you changed anything since? And like, now that you kind of have given yourself that enlightenment, have you now changed the way you do things?
No, not
really. Are you
really.
more patient with yourself of anything?
I don't know. I guess I started thinking a bit more about why I do certain things, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's been a bit of a strange thing to process, and then you start thinking, oh, is there something wrong with me? And then I think, well, actually, I'm 38. I've got this far.
I was going to say, I wouldn't look at it as something wrong.
No,
it's
but you can't.
Neurodivergent.
Yeah, that's it. That's the term, isn't it? Neurodivergent.
Because I had a very similar thing, literally the same thing. Because I was reading something about a lot of people are misdiagnosing themselves with certain things as well, because there's people on TikTok that aren't qualified to talk about these things, just spouting off stuff. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I started reading the videos, like watch the videos like you were, and I was like, that's me too. I do that. That's how I think. There's
definitely a side of it that says, is it actually ADHD, or is it like just common personality things that people
spicy
have.
brain.
Yeah. Like another one that was mentioned is the fact that you leave everything to the last minute in order to create a stress that allows you to get stuff done better.
Because you work under pressure really well.
Correct.
That's exactly me.
That's my uni life.
That was my dissertation in a week.
Love it. Love that.
That was me.
Or for me, or another one was you've got loads of stuff to do, and I get this with work a lot, so you end up sitting there completely paralyzed by it and you can't focus, so you do nothing.
Yeah.
And you end up just doom scrolling on social media just for a bit of that dopamine
and to avoid it, like avoidance. I do exactly the same thing.
So then I therefore wait until someone pesters me to do it, and then I'm like, oh shit, and then I bang it out really quickly.
And you do a good job of it.
And I do a really good job of it. So I've been doing various design work for people, and stuff that would normally could take a couple of days, I can bang out in like 5 hours, because I can just like get totally zoned in on something. The minute I start something, I can't put it down.
Get into a flow and just...
And I think that's why getting back into writing music for me has been quite good, but bad in some ways, because I'll start something and I'll just won't be able to put it down or move on from it. I'll just keep putting more and more into it.
Hyper focus.
Yeah, but equally, I'll either get something part of the way done and then come up with another idea and start working on that, so I won't finish anything. So I've got maybe 15 songs that I haven't finished.
Yeah.
Or I'll write something and in my head it won't be good enough, so I'll keep rewriting it and I'll rewrite it and I'll rewrite it. And
perfectionism.
Even though the first bit was probably good enough to begin with.
You just keep tinker.
So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of why I do certain things, but then I'm also trying to be like, well, how can I, now that I understand this, how can I like overcome it? And you either use it to my advantage.
I was going to say, use it as a superpower. Because in a way, like the way that you are like that, I'm very similar to you. All the things you're saying, I was like, yeah, I get called my calf job, because I start doing something and then my brain would just go, that looks interesting, or like, oh, I need to do this as well, and I just move between things. And actually, though, it does make you very malleable to your environment. Like, you're very good under pressure. Someone can dump a bit of work on you out of nowhere, and instead of folding under it, you'll just go, okay, I'll find a way to squeeze it in, I'll figure it out, because you can just...
Well, like, for example, going back to a classic Pump Fiction chat, the skiing thing.
Yeah. I forgot about that gem.
Level 3, level 6, yeah.
I'll need a new hobby, because I'm permanently looking for new challenges. I got into running, I got obsessed with that. Got into skiing, got obsessed with that. I'll find a new hobby and I'll immediately throw loads of money at it, because I want all the best gear for it. I mean, look at the wall of trainers. I've got boxes of I bought ski boots recently, and I've got 2 ski helmets up there. I just get obsessed with things like the music. I've got obsessed with music again. I bought a new guitar, I bought 3 new effects pedals, I bought all this stuff.
He's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah, and I've always
get all the gear,
but I need to get, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what, but it's just
you get excited by it. I was the same thing. Like, I got into trading for a little bit and I found myself like looking at crypto charts and trying to understand the market.
I did crypto as well,
and I was like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this. And 2 weeks ago I didn't even know it existed, and now my brain is just gone and hyper focused on it.
I get this thing where like I'll be in the middle of some like a new thing that I'm doing, and if I don't buy that thing for it, I can't mentally move on until I've done that. I bought this random new little pedal thing for my amp, and I bought that yesterday, or it came this morning, and it was all I could think about. I wasn't able to get on with my work until I'd bought this stupid little thing. It's like 20 quid.
I did that with my computer when I was younger. I was like, Dad, I need this. Like, I can't do anything without it. I didn't need it, but my brain just fixated on it.
I don't know. I just get this. I don't know. Again, I still don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or if I should do anything about it, or just keep doing what I'm doing. But like, I don't know if it's helping me to understand a bit more of why I do certain things.
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings, I don't know.
I mean, ultimately, like, I think any kind of diagnosis doesn't necessarily like change anything. It kind of explains and helps. Yeah. I think
I'm not looking to change.
Not justify, but almost kind of associate to, like I said, the why you do certain things. The only thing they can really do with ADHD is stimulate you. Because essentially the big idea years ago is when they used to medicate ADHD, they used to try and do things to bring you down. Then they realised that's actually the wrong thing. You're meant to stimulate. So they actually give you stimulants. And so, I'm ADHD, I'm hyper-focused on this is this. It's like, yeah, but you need to get more of. You need to be stimulated. So they give you stimulants to actually level you out rather than the antidepressants.
And I've found that with my work, like having a project as big as opening a gym and having a brand, there are so many moving parts that my brain is constantly stimulated with things to do. Marketing hat on, sales hat on, ops hat on.
Probably makes you feel more grounded though when you're
definitely
busy. That's
and when I'm not busy,
stimulated.
when I'm not busy, I'm lost. I'm just like, I need something to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with ADHD. Oftentimes, when you lack stimulation, be that through medication or through your environment, that's when things almost get worse, and you tend to thrive when you're stimulated.
So people go through the process of getting diagnosed for it, but I feel
my friend's getting diagnosed at the moment.
What's the end product of that?
It's just I think, why do you get diagnosed for autism? It doesn't change anything. They can't treat it. They can't cure it. But it's like, okay, but now I understand why I behave this way. And then people say, oh, but you're doing this. I said, yeah, but actually I have a reason why I do this. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but actually justifies it. Like, why do you... It's like saying to someone with autism who struggles with eye contact, oh, you never look at me in the eyes. It's like, well, actually, I know I should get better at eye contact, but I struggle with it because I'm autistic. That, oh, okay, now it makes sense. You're not just avoiding eye contact because you hate me. You're avoiding it because you struggle with eye contact yourself. So it's just almost an explanation or justification behind this is why you do certain things. So I always say, we're like, it doesn't excuse bad doing. If you do something wrong, it doesn't mean that suddenly it's not wrong anymore. It's just that, okay, you've done this, which wasn't great, but I understand that actually this is a product of something you have, so I can better understand why you've done it. It's like when you have like, I think we've had conversations with people before saying, oh, they've done this, it's really annoying, and then you've turned around and said, dear, but why have they done that? And you're like, actually, I didn't really think about that. I'm not saying it doesn't change the fact that it's been done, but if you can understand the why, maybe you can say, actually, maybe it's not as deep anymore because you know it wasn't malicious. It's actually a symptom of something. And
if you can figure out what that is and what the byproduct of that is, you might better get to the root cause of it. And then you don't have to change a lot, but you can just start to understand your own brain a bit more, be more patient with yourself. Because that's what I learned.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, actually, I used to get really annoyed that I didn't finish things. I was like, why can't I just be passionate enough and care? And then I found things I liked and was like, oh, it's just the way my brain is.
You weren't stimulated enough by what you were finishing.
Yeah. So now I just know, I take it as like, oh, I'm not stimulated by this, therefore it's probably not worth my time. Unless it's important for whatever reason, I can just drop it and move to something else. And now I don't feel as bad dropping things that are just not interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things of, let's say you work with someone and say, oh, I don't like working with Chris. He leaves jobs half finished, but he also does other jobs really well. But then someone may turn around saying, okay, well, I know Chris, he leaves things he's not stimulated by half finished, but the things he does care about, he'll do really well. Because of this, I want to work with someone like that because I'm going to give him the jobs that he will thrive in. I'll do the jobs he doesn't want to do.
I do finish stuff. It's just like sometimes I need a pressure in order to finish.
I'm the same. I can't do things without pressure. Like even when I've done like guides and stuff in the past, anyone I've been working with has been like, I've done loads. I'm like, I've done nothing, but I don't need to do anything yet because give me 2 weeks out, I'll do more than you've ever done.
When I do stuff for clients, I'll ask them to give me a deadline because I know that without one, I'll just let it
float.
simmer.
Yeah.
Like building websites or doing design work for people, I can knock it out really quickly if I'm seeing them the next day and I've got to show it to them, then I'll just smash through.
But that's your superpower, your ability to fixate and focus allows you to do that. And that's why then you don't feel the pressure, but you like the pressure.
Imagine if you had a 2-day job that actually took you 2 days versus a 2-day job that only took you 5 hours. You've got all that free time now.
Yeah, but it's knowing that, isn't it? Yeah.
But only you can do that, but maybe someone that doesn't have that neurodivergent maybe they need the 2 days.
Maybe they need 5 days. Yeah. They don't have 5 days. You need 2 days. You only need 5 hours, really. So you have the 2 days, but you actually don't need it. It could be the other way around. You could need a lot more than you have.
If you get the job done, then that's all that really matters.
True, more time to do other stuff.
And the other thing like you said earlier,
mentally stimulating.
More hobbies. It's something that you said earlier is that you made it to 38 and you're done all right. So what's the problem? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's the thing. Like I don't feel like it's a problem as such. It's just kind of it's creating a level of understanding and kind of like. And also for people around me, like my other half and so on, like for her, it's been quite interesting because she's been reading up on ways to kind of like get the most out of me or just better be around me and stuff.
And that's the thing that's important, is because then that actually helps you and that helps your relationship with her and then everything else. And that's where knowing helps.
I think oftentimes people, regardless of a lot of any kind of diagnosis you may get, again, it depends on the disorder, but a lot of times people obviously jump to the bad. Oh, I've got ADHD. This is this. Like, but why not look at all the good things that you can do that typical people can't, that neurotypical people can't?
So obviously, the fact that we're sat here now, I got into fitness in like 2012. I started lifting weights and got a bit obsessed with it. Then I got into bodybuilding, and I met Ryan, for example, who taught me everything a lot of things that I know. But that obsession that I get for new things meant that I went to great depths to learn as much about it as possible, to the point where I've written articles for Muscle and Fitness magazine and stuff, and I'm sat here now talking to you guys. So I can't feel bad about something that's given me...
Well, it's giving you the opportunity to do something better than, or maybe, I think, invest more into something than the average person would invest into. Like, you can hyper-focus on things, and you may struggle with doing loads of things, but then you'll find one thing you do better than anyone else. Whereas, I guess, neurotypical people may just float to do a bit of everything and never be able to hyper-focus on one and never become as good as you have become at what you've done.
Definitely. And like, I've only known you a few years, but when I think of you, I think Chris is someone that will not only get it done, but he'll do a good job of it. And that's obviously because of the way that your brain fixates on things.
I see it as a positive. Even with like mental health, like when you go through periods of depression, I was like, I wish I didn't go through that. I said, why? Why do you wish you didn't go through something that's allowed you to become more empathetic, has shown you your ability to overcome adversity, and now can better help other people who are dealing with the same thing? Why is that? And why is depression a negative when you could take a positive from it? Although it's obviously shit to deal with, and it's not very nice, but you come out the other side of it and saying, I've learned so much about myself and my capabilities, and I can help other people now. What benefit that is in life that a lot of people may not experience.
I think interestingly, talking about depression and stuff, is one aspect of it that I've never really thought about, is some days I'll just be down and I don't know why, and like I'll just be quiet, and like I'll be with my other half, whatever, and she'll be like, you're right. So I'm just be like, yeah, I'm just feeling a bit quiet today. And I think it's maybe because sometimes, from what I've read with ADHD, obviously, where you're completely like up and doing loads of stuff, sometimes there's that inevitable crash where you've got you haven't got a lot in the tank, and I feel like I can really relate to that. So it's quite interesting for me to know more about that potential, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but sometimes you just have to be okay with being a little bit.
I think that stops you also putting the pressure on yourself to be like 100% all the time. There's a book, I forget what it's called. It's like, I wish someone had told me this or something. And in one of the chapters, she talks about low mood and how we should normalize these ebbs and flows in our mood, because it's very normal just to have low mood. And that's what I say to Jess or anyone that I'm sorry, I'm just feeling myself. I was like, don't apologize. It's okay to feel low sometimes. Like sometimes we need that just to kind of amp back up again. So yeah,
I think like, that's why I think getting diagnosed can just help better explain things. Like even with the whole BPD thing, like one of the issues with BPD is every emotion you feel borderline personality disorder, spicy brain. So one of the issues with that is every emotion you feel it to the extreme. So when I feel sad, my immediate thought is cut myself or kill myself, and that there's no just sadness. It's I'm going to kill myself today. And that's obviously one of the issues Katie, obviously my housemate, had to deal with, is when we'd have like periods where I went through that dip. And the options would essentially be either I try and kill myself today or I cut myself. And she said, well, obviously I don't present her with that, but she'll hear me obviously having to like harm myself, obviously trigger warning. And then she'll be like, well, I'd rather you do that than the other thing. And then on the happy days, I'm really happy. I'm hyper energetic. I'm hyperactive. Everyone's like, oh, you're in a really good mood today. So this is just a normal good mood. It's not really good, but this is just how I experience it. But then you have to be that, although good and bad, you have to then identify you need to be more careful with certain things, and this diagnosis kind of helps me saying, I know this is going to be a symptom where I'm either going to be really low or really happy. I need to try and understand that a middle ground's where I need to find, because I've got to be careful, because if I do get sad, I'm going to get really sad and go through periods where I think about harming myself, think about obviously other actions. But if I'm happy, I'm going to get really happy, or I get hyper obsessed and all this. So I need to kind of be wary of not getting almost too happy, but not getting too sad. Otherwise, it shoots me down to the extreme. And even like things like drinking is partly why I don't drink, because I can't do things in moderation. So if I drink, I will drink. So I haven't drunk for 10 years. Drugs, obviously, we know what happened there in the past. So I can't do things like that. Everything I do, you go into that obsessive, like abusive state of it. So it's like, well, I can't do these things. I'm just not allowed to touch any of it now. I just don't think I'll be able to do it normally or like in moderation. So but getting diagnosed has helped understand that this is actually a symptom. So now I need to know how to better live my life to prevent, I think, feeding those symptoms. Which is again, but I wouldn't know that if it wasn't diagnosed. Do Do you know what I mean? So like, I think getting diagnosed can be really helpful because it can help you better almost plan your life, saying, well, I know that I'm going to do this if this happens and this happens. So I need to be careful not to allow this to happen because I will go over here, whereas normal people might only go to here. And I don't want to go over there. I want to be here. So, but I know I can't have that without that. So I'd rather just not have it at all.
It's like if you know, like lack of sleep will make you frantic. It's like I need to be more responsible with my routine, so I just get enough sleep so I don't frantic and it doesn't snowball to the point where then you start to catastrophize and then it just goes like that. So
I think it helps you kind of like better structure your life. That's one thing I've found ever since like we call it D-Day, the episode, we call it D-Day. I've identified there are certain things I need to have in order to keep me a bit more level. One of those is a sleeping routine. So now I go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning, and that's
what time are you going to bed now?
Usually like 1:30, 2, which is better than
that's good for you.
Yeah, that's good for me.
Knowing you, that's quite impressive.
It's middle of the day.
Yeah, literally, that's good for me. But then I can also identify like work. I need to do X amount of work in the day, and when I'm working really well, I feel a lot better because I'm not distracted. If I'm not distracted, and I'm like doing nothing, my head goes vroom, and when it goes vroom, it's just a bad time. Then also understand like conflict. If I get in arguments with people and shit like that, it's really not worth it for me because that will send me into like the extreme of I can't believe we argue. Let's say you and your wife argue, 20 minutes argument, you feel a bit shit and you come away, wish we didn't. I'm sorry, wish we didn't do that. Like that's a normal response. It's like
we don't tend to apologise. We just tend to bicker, and then we
brush it off.
Then we joke about it, and then everything's all back to normal.
But that's like a normal.
But that releases attention, isn't it? And then you're almost like that was silly.
After arguments with like friends or with like Katie, the housemate, when something happens, I then go through periods of like 3 hours where I'm like, I feel so guilty. I deserve to die now. And that's the extreme.
You just go to like the
So
go to 11 with everything.
Yeah. So I sit in the bathroom and harm myself, and she's obviously upset, and like at half the time I can't remember. After I come out of these episodes where I'm fine, I'm like, I don't remember what's happened. So one of the issues when these episodes like they kind of theorize when you have like actual episodes where you go through this like hyper emotional state, your prefrontal cortex shuts off, which is where your rational thinking occurs, and everything is driven by the amygdala, which is where your emotion driven irrational thinking occurs, and like people with BPD typically have smaller amygdalas. So I'm doing everything based on emotion, not rational thinking. And emotional thoughts they deem to be like 8 times stronger. So everything's like vroom. And that's also why I don't remember, because the prefrontal cortex is almost like a tunnel to memory. So I don't remember anything. So it's literally like I wasn't there. So with the whole D-Day incident,
it's like a fight or flight response.
Yeah,
that's
what
it
is. It is fight or flight, and that's what it is. It's like when the whole D-Day incident happened, I speak to Katie about it now, and she's like, "Do you remember doing this?" I was like, "No." I said, "You have to treat it like I wasn't even in that. I wasn't even in the country. Someone else was there for me." And then when it all went tits up and it all crashed down, I got back in the country again, and I will never remember a lot of it. So she'll show me pictures of like things that happened, like what's happened, and she'll like, "Do you remember this?" I'm like, "No."
It's like a poltergeist has taken control of you.
I call it Patricia. You've seen Split.
Yeah.
I refer to when I have these episodes, I'm like, "It's Patricia." And then Katie will be like, "Am I speaking to you or Patricia today?" I'm like, "Patricia's sleeping, shh." Just because it's a way of we can like almost like add humour to it,
but it keeps it in like the realm of like
But I think like but I think I always kind of identified when I was younger. Obviously, this has been going on for years and years and years since I was traumatized as a child. We'll say, always kind of identified to my parents. I remember saying this for years. I said, I think differently to a lot of other people, like very black and white. Two things can't be true at once. Like if your wife says, "I love you, I just need space," which one is it? You either love me or you need space. You can't have both, because I can't fathom that both can be true. Even small things I used to say when I was in psychiatric care years ago. I used to see things. I said this to my psychiatrist. I was like, I keep seeing things. He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I keep seeing like shadows and silhouettes of like figures in the corner of my eyes, and I turn, they're gone." And this has been going on for 7+ years. And he was like, "I'll give you antipsychotics. You just have a bit of an episode." I was like, and then literally a TikTok popped up from someone, a BPD specialist, whatever, says a really uncommon symptom that people don't speak about BPD, hallucinations, where you see silhouettes of figures and they disappear. And I was like, there we go.
Yeah, you
knobheads, you should have told me.
Fuck's sake.
But that like identifying that's a symptom of something I have, now I'm not going crazy. Actually, this is actually a symptom, which is why I think although a diagnosis doesn't change anything, that's actually given me a lot of peace. Saying, "Oh, thank
It
God,
is
I'm
peace,
not."
yeah.
Like
peace
I
of
know,
mind, isn't it?
I know I'm actually not losing it, because I used to say to my parents, I keep seeing these things or this. I don't think the same way. They'd brush off. Oh, you're just a bit sad. You underslept. I think you're a bit hungry. Hormonal. That's my mum's go-to.
Have you had enough water today?
Literally every time.
Must a plant.
Literally all the time. Mum's like, "Have you slept enough?" I'm like, "Mum, I want to kill myself." She go, "Hormones.
You know what you need? Waffles.
Yeah. Do you want some yogurt?" And then then you finally get diagnosed with it, and they're like, "Oh, something's actually wrong, isn't it? Should have listened. I'm sorry. My bad." But I can't give a shit. Like, obviously, I give my mum shit about it. It's like a joke a lot now. But at the end of the day, no one teaches you how to be a parent. And in her realm, BPD didn't really exist. Like,
no,
she's like, after the episode, obviously a month ago, she's finally, after all these years, taking it really seriously. Where she's like, "Oh shit, something's actually going on now." And she's got a book reading about it, learning about it, and
that's good.
Yeah, which is great, because a lot of people know mental health from the perspective of depression and anxiety, which is like the
basics.
Yeah, which is great that people understand those disorders, but then a lot of people don't really understand the realities of ADHD. So when you talk about your behaviours, it's kind of outside of people's scope of mental health, so they're a bit like, "Oh, shit."
If it's not been on this morning, then they probably don't know.
And then anxiety and things like depression are not illnesses for you; they're actually symptoms. So when you say, "Oh, I'm depressed," it's, "Oh, let's treat your depression." No, don't treat the depression.
Why are you sad?
Yeah, treat the problem that's making me depressed.
There was certain things instances that happened in the past, and I reevaluate them now with that head on, and I'm like, well, actually, that does make a bit more sense. Like, I was on holiday last year and had a rental car, hit a pothole, and part of the underside of the car got slightly damaged. I think it was already damaged.
I think you told me this.
Yeah. But part of me was like, "Oh God!" I read the small print I stupidly read the small print in the car rental thing, saying that off-road, because we'd had to park off the road, off-road cover's not included. Yeah. Any damage to the car, all this liability, all this sort of stuff, and I was like, shit. And literally for the entire remainder, it happened on like day 2.
Ruined the holiday.
Completely ruined the holiday.
You're anxious about
any spare moment I had, all I could think about was how much, what was going to happen to me. I was even thinking, how much money do I have in the bank? Can I cover the cost of the car? All this sort of stuff.
You play it forward.
All these sort of, and I've always done this. And apparently, people with ADHD are quite solution focused, and the reason that is because if you don't come up with a solution, your mind will just run all the worst case scenarios infinitely. And I've always been like that.
Feeds anxiety.
That is 100% me, and I literally can't sleep. And sometimes I just get out of bed, I'll go and solve the problem, and then I'll sleep like that.
Yeah. So, but the stupid thing was, before I took the car back to the rental place, I got underneath it and I reattached this bit of plastic, and it fitted back on as normal. And I'm like, why didn't I just do that instead of just putting it in the boot and trying not to think about it?
You always catastrophize it a bit.
Yeah.
But you don't think about what's a simple fix for this.
I don't know. Or just like say for example, I've mentioned Ryan before. Ryan's the most relaxed person I've ever met, and he'll he messaged me ages ago saying, "Oh, I parked in that car park by the gym, and they've been sending me loads of parking ticket warnings and stuff, and it's just bollocks, really, all this sort of stuff, and they want to take me to court, this, that, and the other." And it's like, I'm just going to leave it. I've read it's all scams and stuff, and all this bullshit that you hear about with parking scams and what have you. If that happened to me,
you'd be losing your beans.
I would be absolutely apoplectic. I'd be a mess, worrying about what the next letter that was going to come.
Deep into Google search, all the forums.
Am I going to get sent
Reddit
to solitary confinement?
But for someone like him, who seems to just have this incredible ability just to kind of oh yeah, it'll be fine. What are they they can't do anything. And I got so envious of people that can be like that. I just can't. I can't not worry about every tiny little detail. And so it's stuff like that, I suppose. And nothing is going to make me overcome that, but it does explain to me why I have to solve a problem as quickly as possible, otherwise it will torture me.
But that will help other people around you, because I'm similar to that with things. And now people that are in my life, when I say I just need to figure this out, they understand that actually if they give me that space and relief to just figure it out, then everything will be okay. Whereas if they just try and tell me not to fret about it, that won't work. My brain will just start to spin and find the solution.
It's interesting because the more people I've mentioned my revelation to and talked about certain aspects of it, the more they've gone, "Oh, I'm like that." and it's more, and other people have said to me, like, there's so many other people who have had a similar realization, and I even mentioned it to my mother when we were talking with my parents about it, and I explained a lot of the symptoms or a lot of the personality traits, and she was like, yeah, that's maybe, you're describing her as well. So I probably got it from my mum. So
yeah, I think ultimately, like, there is definitely, in most cases, like a genetic component. Like, obviously I've had some bad relationships with my daughter. I have a bad relationship with my dad, and he's obviously behaved in many ways, but I can also identify that BPD, there's a genetic component to BPD, which means the way he's behaved is probably actually due to an undiagnosed condition stemmed by trauma, because he had a horrendous childhood from his dad, which again we don't speak about, so it probably explains it. Although I can't forgive, although it doesn't justify or kind of like forgive his actions, I can explain it and say, well, I can identify from there's a problem. You probably have BPD. You should probably get treated now. And I'd be far more willing to have him in my life. I can't at the moment because he's such a significant trigger for me, essentially, where this trauma essentially stems from him. But if he would at least treat his problem, then I might have more of a chance to do so. Like, if I get two alcoholics, one's in rehab, doing really well in recovery, fantastic. The other one's drinking excessively and obsessively. It's going to be far easier for the person in rehab to relapse being around that person than it is for the person who's drinking to suddenly be in recovery because they see how well the person in rehab's doing. So I'd just rather not. But if they're both in rehab, they'll probably thrive off each other and do well.
And support each other.
Yeah, so I just like, if dad's going to be exhibiting symptoms and triggers, then I can't risk
undo something.
But if he were to do something about it, then maybe I have more of a chance building that. But there's obviously a long way to go. But I think it's when you speak to people about things and they then start identifying, oh shit, maybe like, this is one thing I found when I tried to like help people with mental health, is a lot of times when you speak to people about mental health, they're very closed off. Because it's quite a touchy subject. People get embarrassed about speaking about it sometimes, or maybe feel a bit ashamed that you felt a certain way.
People still see it as a weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a shame. But
like I said to you before, like when I started thinking about it, I was thinking about myself, like, what's wrong? Why?
And that's such a horrible way to think about yourself.
I know,
isn't
and
it?
and now I'm okay with it. But at the time, I was like feeling a bit down about it because it's like I've always perceived myself to be okay, and now I'm like, am I okay?
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things of when you show vulnerability to people, I found they're more likely to show it back. So if you say, you don't seem right, you doing this way, and they're like, no, I'm fine. Like, oh, okay, I'm glad you're fine. Well, actually, I'm having a real shit time. I've realised I actually might have ADHD. I have these symptoms. They're more likely to turn around because you've now shown vulnerability first to say, well, if Chris can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't show it first, they're less likely to maybe just essentially pour it out to you.
Yeah.
So identifying that this is a problem for you, or you've identified this is a potential thing, something you might be dealing with, and you can then speak to people, say, oh, actually, these are symptoms. This explains so much why I was like this at this time, at this party, I behaved this way, whatever it may be. And then they'll turn around and say, I'm actually really glad you told me that, because I think I actually have similar symptoms. Actually, I'm struggling with this instead. Once you've opened the door, you're kind of guiding them through. Otherwise, if no one speaks about it, either one of you is waiting for the other to open the door.
Definitely. And I mean, I've had arguments with people, and similar to you, when I've realised that's how my brain works, I've kind of gone back to them and said, yeah, sorry, I did this, my brain does this. And they're like, right, okay, I get it now.
Part of me's thought about going back to some friends that I stopped talking to and sort of like almost saying, just to let you know,
bit of closure almost.
But again, do you want them in your life now?
That was what I was going to say. Would the friendship offer you any value? Was it better?
So I had, so as an example, I had a couple of friends that one moved away and the other one I stopped talking to because it's a long story, but we fell out. And I fell out with his other half because stupid stuff where I didn't. It's a long story. Anyway, we fell out, and part of me wants to go back to him and say that, I'm sorry for that. Part of it's because I deal with rejection badly, which I now realise. I mean, I do. And I probably overreacted and said to them that, well, if we can't overcome this, then I don't want you.
You push them away before they can push you away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like an element of like fear of abandonment, where if you're going to leave, I'm going to leave first, or I'm going to make you leave. At least
if you do it, you've had the choice. Yeah. You've cut, so you can run.
Yeah, I think I've just a bit basically overreacted to the situation.
I feel rejected, so I'm going to reject you harder right now.
Because his other half kind of effectively rejected me because of an action, because of something I did by mistake, and I wasn't alerted to it. I wasn't able to deal with it at the time because he didn't tell me about it. He just brushed it under the carpet. And then it reached to a point where I started to notice that we weren't doing anything socially together.
And you're like, what's up?
So therefore I was like, why can't we hang out? And then he eventually came out with what had happened, where she felt disrespected because I didn't invite them to something. The reason I didn't invite them was because I could only make room to fit my close family, but they'd been disrespected by it. And anyway,
and it's so frustrating because that could have been dealt with in the moment.
Yeah,
had everyone been alerted,
had I been informed, and instead of it like being this secret thing that I didn't know about,
way up,
it blew it way out of proportion. And then for whatever reason, she got totally mad about it, and then I wrote letters to both of them trying to make it right, and it was like nothing I could do could make it any better. So then I ended up turning around to him and saying, because like, if we can't all get on, then I don't see how you and I can maintain a friendship where I just see you at the gym.
Yeah, it's not really
I want us to be able to be close, and like I see you as one of my close friends. So if we can't get past this,
was this at Pulse 8?
Yeah, it was after that.
I think you've briefly touched on the story.
Yeah, and so
before.
And so basically, I was quite extreme in saying, I mean, that because I couldn't handle that situation, I basically said, "I'm sorry, but like if it can't be all of it, then I can't have any of it."
But flip around, based on obviously the limited information I have, but it kind of sounds like, obviously, if it was as minor, again, depends how you perceive it. As literally not inviting someone to something because obviously close family were a priority, fair enough, as they should be. It kind of sounds like a them problem, not a you problem. So you can apologise all you want, but I don't think in this case you're the problem here.
The punishment does not fit the crime at all.
Again,
like,
I'm
on
sure,
any level. I'm sorry.
sure they've got their reason. Maybe there's more information we've not obviously been told because
I can't be bothered to go into the full details of it. But it was a bit of it was quite petulant on their end.
Sounds it.
And I even wrote letters to apologise for everything, and it was just like,
which is way more than most people do. Most people just moan
I think in that case you can apologise all you want for it, but again, externally I say, is that really a friendship you want in your life? Because I wouldn't want a friendship like that.
But then subsequently to that, like, I'll be out on a run sometimes and I'll think about it and I'll be like, and it'll upset me all over again.
But does that upset you because you still feel like you're in the wrong, that you were the reason the friendship died off? Because I think reality, whether you apologise or not, or whether you behave that way, I think the friendship would have died off anyway, and that's not your fault. I think that's a them problem, not your problem.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of explaining how my mind sometimes just tortures me with certain things.
No, I get the same thing. I think obviously, like, we used to make jokes about obviously like Harry Mooring people, where I just kind of block everyone and just disappear. Then I realised that's actually a symptom of BPD. Fear of abandonment, like severe fear of abandonment. So instead of them abandoning me first during an argument, I'm going to leave first and then never speak to you again. Or like I'll push them away to the point where it just shuts that friendship off. Like, obviously I had friends that pulsate that I'm not friends. We haven't spoken since. Yeah. Because my go-to was they're like, okay, it's going tits up. They're going to leave. I'm gone first. Blocked. Can't speak to them if I tried. Like, but then I can identify it, and I have similar thoughts where I said, oh shit, maybe it actually was my fault. Maybe it's a me problem. And then I feel like, I should apologise. Because like what Mike said earlier, so well, is that friendship really actually adding value to your life? No, because I've done all right without them. I'm pretty all right now. Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like, because almost you didn't, I know you made the choice to cut them out, but because if you had the choice at the time, you probably wouldn't have lost that friendship. It's almost like
probably accelerated the process.
Yeah,
probably going to happen.
And actually, that's almost why you hold on to it a little bit, because you're like, I didn't get to choose. Yeah, I made a choice, but I didn't get to choose.
You remove closure from yourself, because again, if you didn't provide the closure, there would have been options. But in reality, I think the closure would have come anyway.
Like when someone breaks up with you, and sometimes actually it's just because you wanted to get in there first. You didn't want you wanted to do the breaking up and not be broken up with. You don't actually really care that you broke up.
Sometimes breaking up with someone's harder, because when you break up with someone, there's normally
I've been there.
It's almost like hard because you've chosen to break up, but you know that you in some cases that you could also choose to be back together, so you have the options. But if they break up with you're forced to go.
Have you also had it as well, where like someone decides to remove you from their life, and you're like, but I put up with way more shit
all the time
than what you put me through.
I've done one bad thing. You've done 50 bad things to everyone, and
now you're leaving. This is the straw.
I'm always annoyed with you because I deserve to leave first. Piss off.
Are we toxic people?
It's so frustrating, mate. Like I've had friends that have moved away. Like my old best friend moved to Chicago, and we don't talk anymore. And I even try and message him, and he's too busy to fucking reply. It's like, oh, what the fuck? It's like, but then I keep. Again, you talk to yourself thinking it's my fault. Well, it's not, because they just changed their life and they got busy and they.
I'm going to tell you a story. This years
Settle
on.
in, folks.
This still cuts me deep. So I was working at Nufford at this time. This is before I went to uni, so I must have been 2017, I reckon. So some years ago. I had a friend in America who's like through TFNL. We were like that. Woman in America, we were so close. Like, she went through a divorce. I helped her through the divorce. We did so much shit. Like,
You were a divorce counsellor?
yeah, I was there. And when I was going through some shit as well, because I was dealing with like the drug issues at this stage as well, she was really helpful. We were like that. And she used to make a joke, because we were like as in, we used to talk every day. We used to FaceTime every Friday. We were so close. Like, so we got on, like, we used to share a lot of music. We were literally like best friends for a long time. Like, I say a long time. It was well over a year, like a year and a half, 2 years. We were like that. And she used to make jokes, because at the time I was like really anti-marriage. I was like, I never want to get married. Never want to get married. And she used to make jokes to piss me off, saying, don't worry, we'll get married one day. And because she knew I didn't want marriage. So I went to Italy in then 2018, I believe. Then 2019 I went to Italy, when we were obviously still friends at this point. And she said, send me a postcard. So I sent her a postcard, because bare funny, because obviously we jokes. And I said, great place for our wedding, as like a joke to feed it. And then we talking like every day, as we did. We used to talk all day, every day. And then suddenly she didn't reply to something. I was like, wait a couple of days. I sent her a message. I was like, did you ever get the postcard? Because my friend sent a postcard to his friend as well, the same time, who I went to Italy with. And he came into the gym and was like, they finally got the postcard after 4 weeks. I was like, oh shit, I'll ask it. How she got the postcard? I was like, did you get the postcard? Never delivered. Went on her Instagram, she blocked me. So I hadn't heard anything. The last conversation we had was like, yeah, where the fuck's this postcard? Making jokes about it. And then literally just blocked me on everything.
What, so you got no closure in that friendship?
No closure,
whatsoever?
that was it.
Just gone.
Did she have any boyfriend or something?
Well, that's like, from that moment, when she received the postcard, because she would have received it, I'd never spoken to her again.
So it's the postcard that fucked it?
So I think, so in the time, she'd recently got into a relationship with someone.
Got a bit orcs.
And I think he would have intercepted the postcard and seen the joke, because it was a running joke of great place for our wedding. Because obviously, if he knew over
out of context,
and then he would have been like, what the fuck, like,
who's
block
this guy?
him,
Who's
get
this
rid of
pen
him.
pal motherfucker?
Yeah. And then we never spoke again.
Oh Jesus.
And like, she blocked me on everything. And
I've had a similar thing, but not to that level, where you're just like, why don't we talk anymore?
Yeah, to this day it still cuts me, because I know because my friend follows her, because she's like does a lot of like goth, like really talented artist.
Yeah.
And they're married now. They've got like all this shit.
I've got similar stories.
And I'm saying, like, I'm still years down, like 4 years later, I'm still like,
you're still
we were like that, man. We were so close.
Stack of postcards ready to go.
Literally, I was living. I was like, where's my closure?
I've got another. I can't be bothered to go. I've got a very similar story, just without the kind of weird postcard shit. But I can't be bothered to go into it. But equally, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, you have a friend that you talk to loads, and you help them through tough times,
and they help me as well.
You go through so much together.
Yeah, they help me through loads of shit.
And then for whatever reason, one day they just go bang, and they just like disconnect.
Yeah.
It's like the user has left the chat.
We literally went from speaking like frequently, and I was going through some shit at the time, she was going through some shit, and then we were trying to help each other, and then suddenly gone. I was like, hello.
Have you seen the meme where it's like they're on like Xbox Live or something? It's like, right, getting tired, going to bed, see you tomorrow, and it's like last logged in 10 years ago, and it's like oh,
it's like you never knew this could be the end.
Yeah,
like,
you didn't know in that moment that would be the last time you spoke to that person.
It reminds me of something I read the other day, saying once there was a time when you burnt your last ever CD. Yeah.
That,
what do you even know? Can you even imagine what that would have been? The last ever CD. Like, you young listeners won't know what it's like.
Robbie Williams,
to burn
probably
a CD.
Classic. Swing When You're Winning album, classic.
Swing When You're.
That's my favourite one of his. It's a classic.
You've changed.
No, obviously not now. Obviously back then, I'm still Lorna Shore all day. But
a friend of mine was at a really good hardcore festival over the weekend. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Outbreak.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Surely you should know these things. In this country.
You sure it wasn't Download a few weeks ago?
No, hang on. What was
apparently that was an interesting experience for some of the crowd. So I was watching the
lineup
vlogger.
Was insane.
Yeah, the lineup looked great. One of the vloggers was just like, he had a press pass, and he was just like, fancy. They it was very poorly organised. Which
shock.
Yeah, but they
like
were like
fire.
They were taking like basically on the website they were like, you can either bring in an empty bottle or a sealed, untampered bottle of water.
I need more than that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can buy it there, but it would have been extortionate.
£15 for a sip.
So they were getting people to like throw full bottles of water like away before they'd go in.
Yeah.
And they're taking sunscreen off people. And this guy was like, by the time you got all the way through the security gates, you got actually into the venue, there were like people collapsed on the floor having like water poured over them because they'd had heat stroke.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And like people burning because it's like they took my sunscreen away from me, and it's just like, that shit's annoying.
It was Outbreak Fest in Manchester.
Sounds wild. Apparently.
Death Grips. Have you heard of Death
Nah.
Grips? Try other bands. Code Orange.
Yeah.
Played One Step Closer. Converge.
No.
Denzel Curry. Anyone heard?
Oh yeah, Denzel Curry's good.
Curry.
Yeah.
Earl Sweatshirt. Anyone heard that name?
Are you making these up now?
No.
Are you sure on a random word generator?
He's on
No.
ChatGPT again.
Yellow Goldfish.
Yeah.
Pain of Truth.
It's a bit unoriginal.
Restraining Order. Good name, that one.
Harry, is that your
No,
pseudonym?
people, the average names.
Flesh Water. Good name.
Again,
These are like literally like when you're 14 and you make your Hotmail address and you're
Anyway.
stuck with it now.
I made a band when I was 14 called Flames of Sanity. Obviously, there's no music
Is
in
that
it.
ironic
Yeah,
now?
probably.
An ironic name.
Yeah, literally. Apparently, I don't know. Again, this is just
Speculation.
not fact. Do not sue me. My friend went to go see Lorna Shore after Download, like because he played Belfast, and the other friend. So they're married. I'm friends with both of them. The husband used to be in a metal band, and they were quite like they were actually doing all right bits. He then left, but he's still friends with some of the band members, and they're obviously they're friends with Lorna Shore. And apparently Will, the lead singer, nearly cancelled the gig because apparently he looked like a mess. Apparently he got so messed up on drugs the night before he didn't think he could play the gig.
Good times.
Bloody hell.
I was like, Will, don't do that.
No.
Stop it, please.
Rock and roll lifestyle, huh?
Did you two hear today that old Lewis Capaldi's cancelled all his live shows?
Yeah, you see him in Glastonbury.
Dealing with because basically he can't handle. He needs to figure out how to handle his Tourette's.
I think it's probably driven by a lot of anxiety as well.
Dude, yeah.
I love him.
No,
I saw the Glastonbury. Have you seen the
It's
Glastonbury?
heartbreaking.
No.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, he keeps trying to sing, but he can't. And then the crowd sing the song for him, and then he apologised, saying, "It's the worst show I've ever done." But everyone's like, "Chamas, proud of you." I'm sorry, I nearly cried.
It was very upsetting, but for the crowd, I imagine it was probably one of the most moving gigs they've ever been to.
Yeah. If that happened to me, I would see that as the most memorable and probably best gig I've ever been to, because you could support someone through something.
You were part of something.
You have more fans.
Yeah.
Off the back of that.
I think he's probably got the feel like he feels like he's let people down. So literally not at all.
You're a human
Not
being.
at all.
They should definitely carry on because the crowd would love to be there for him to support him through it.
I think, but he's doing the wise thing of being able to step away, of saying, "I need to better manage this to be able to thrive," because it's probably ruining his mental health as well with anxiety and stuff. Which
imagine the stress of going to perform knowing that it could just fall apart on you.
Because his Tourette's has noticeably got worse over the last X amount of years. But I kind of question: are there other things that could again? I don't know a lot about Tourette's, to be honest. Really, I think I've got I know one person with it, but you got to think about. Obviously, again, this is just speculative opinion, but obviously he's gained a lot of weight in that time. He's very out of shape. Is he very stressed? Are a lot of these factors
on the road?
not
looking after himself.
Is he not looking after that? Are these factors where he's not maybe as healthy as he was when he started, whereas a bit more managed? He was not as he's maybe more stressed than he was when he started. Are any of these factors contributing to the severity of his symptoms?
Well, the stress of the touring and trying to look after yourself whilst touring is very hard.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine.
I can imagine.
But again, I don't know if
living out of a
health or
suitcase,
stress.
going to all these after party gigs,
I don't know
not
if
getting enough sleep.
I don't know if being healthy or stressed can exacerbate symptoms at all. I'm just assuming.
What band was it? I think it might have been the Foo Fighters. That they nearly broke up a few times because they toured for years without a break, and some of the members of the band were just like, I need a break.
Apparently, one of the OG members of Slipknot has just been booted out.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know the full story, but one I think he joined in '96 or something.
Was he a guitarist or is it Clown? Is he on the drums?
The one with the long nose.
I mean, that could be any of them.
Red Mask.
That's one of the guitarists, isn't it? It's not the turntables. No, he's the guy with all the spikes.
So apparently, again, I've read something.
Really?
Yeah. So he said he blames Slipknot and something else, and then apparently, Corey Taylor came out and said,
"Damn.
You know why you've been removed? It's nothing else. It's something you've done."
Jesus.
So, and then someone speculated that he's done something inappropriate with a fan or something,
right?
Or groupies.
That's Sigur Rós.
Yes,
their drummer quit because I'm going to go see them this weekend.
Oh, cool.
They're in Reading. One of the
apparently a Clown and also 133
Oh yeah, so the guy on the turntables, and clown.
Yeah, both basically gone.
Yeah, because again, I just what I've read online, I don't know if any of it's true, but apparently they were doing inappropriate things.
So he got accused of some kind of like sexual assault with a fan from years ago, and I don't know if I don't know how far it's got, whether it's been proven or if it's still speculation. But he left the band. Is like, I don't want to put this on the band, so he left.
Fair enough. Well, that's why that's kind of how Will got into Lorna Shore. The singer before Will, essentially got removed from the band because he got accused, or was something to do with either domestic violence or sexual assault. One of the two. I might be wrong, but it was something to do with obviously some kind of like assault.
Do you think it's something to do with
they got
the power that these people suddenly get when they have the notoriety,
and then he gets a lot of attention from all the other people, and he probably sees themselves as like maybe better than,
and it removes some of the moral compass adjusts,
makes them feel invincible to an extent.
Well, all three
the musician here can give us
all three members of Green Day went through massive divorces because ultimately they just didn't want to stop touring, and therefore they just abandoned their families and stuff.
You get addicted to the success and feeling invincible and like a god to a lot of people.
I mean, I certainly didn't feel like a god, but I do miss touring and gigging and stuff, which is part of the reason why I'm writing music again, because I want to play. I want to be stood in front of people playing my music, and I miss that kind of like interaction and stuff. You know,
that's cool.
No, I think
that terrifies me.
And imagining,
I cry.
Imagining that just like on a level like that these megastars have, where like they couldn't be any. You know, they are gods to people.
Glastonbury. Everyone's singing your songs back to you. You must feel like you can literally just click your fingers and do.
Well, when you're all that kind of like high-end celebrity, be that A-tier celebrity in the general public, or even just in the metal scene, being someone like a singer of Lorna Shore, that will be very noticeable. You just feel like you have this kind of like, I assume this invincibility of you are something that people look up to. You can do no wrong. You can get away with a lot more.
And I think the opposite as well. You look at like the suicide rate, especially in like the rock and metal scene, like the lead singers that we've lost.
So you're living a highlight reel that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's almost like an exacerbated version of social media.
I mean, like when Chester killed himself, like that hit me, because
the Linkin Park singer.
Yeah, that was a band that I grew up with.
I remember when I was in the gym when I found out about that. I was at Bridge Road. I remember that. I was like, and I was just like, I've never been. I like Linkin Park. I've never been a massive fan of them. I listened to them here and there, like a few songs. Like Numb, and obviously the
Hybrid Theory was the album for me. 2000.
Imagine
was 10.
Imagine people dealing with the Kurt Cobain news, for example.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what? One thing that actually kind of hit me like a little bit harder is, I think it was either the day before D-Day or like the day after. I used to watch a YouTube channel back in the day called Masthetics. And they were the YouTube channel that encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. Because of them, I started TFNL, because I used to watch them with Jason and obviously the guy started TFNL with Tom. We used to love them. They're like our favourite channel. Literally, the guy called Simon and Garrett from New Mexico, and we're like, shit, we're going to start a YouTube channel. And people used to refer to us in the comments as the UK version of Masthetics. I was like, wow, it's the dream. They weren't big channel. They had I think they worked up to probably less than 100k. They're probably similar size to, maybe even smaller than TFNL now. And then Garrett, one of the guys, suddenly died. He was in med school, or he was in med school, got kicked out with his bad behaviour, but apparently they're speculating he overdosed on fentanyl. He owns a gym called Legion Iron. Him and Simon had a massive breakup where they split up the channel, but I think they kind of figured things out. And then I just got, obviously saw it online, everyone saying rest in peace, and I have friends that know him personally. And I was a bit like, oh shit, actually, it's actually made me feel a bit sad, because without them, TFNL wouldn't have started.
You realise the impact that person had on you.
Yeah. And I was a bit like, and obviously I know his girlfriend's a Gymshark athlete, Serena Abaway or something, a powerlifter. And we've spoken in the DMs before. I did a video on her, she messaged her, and we actually got on quite well. And we follow each other, and then obviously she's with him. And I've spoken to Garrett even last year when she was going through something. Because she has some bad mental health problems.
Is
I messaged
she quite
him.
a small?
47 kilos.
I know that.
Well, she was with Garrett, and I messaged Garrett saying, look, a bit random, but is she okay? I've not heard from her, and obviously I know she's had some bad history of attempts and stuff. I just want to make sure she's okay. He said, she's having a really bad time. So we spoke a bit. And then obviously a year later, he's obviously passed away. I was like, shit, it's crazy. Bit sad.
There you go.
Oh, what a morbid episode, eh?
I mean, it's a mental health chat, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need more of these.
Rawness.
Authenticity.
We will plan some up and coming episodes where we'll do some
drink some more milks.
I think a big question before we end is, how are you, Mike? Are you okay? Because you said you since the stress of the gym and everything's been a bit.
You know
of a
what
shitter.
it is?
How are you getting on?
Mike's legs look bigger.
Thank you.
Mike looks bigger in general. I saw his big bulging bicep vein when I walked in. I was like, gee,
this is what training and eating does to a body. Turns out.
Fair, but he's not wrong.
I'm okay. I'm good. You know what it is? Yeah. Is it's not. I actually feel more than anything grateful at the moment.
That's good. It's good feeling.
Because
you're doing your morning gratitudes.
Kind of, in a way, but more so just waking up, especially when I'm in the car for an hour or so driving up to the gym. I get to think like, oh, I'm tired, but also I think where I've come from, what I was putting up with, what I get to do now, and like the fact that I put something out there and hustled it, and then someone came along and said, we love it, we want to hustle it with you.
You've been given the opportunity.
And then like we know more people that would want to make this happen, and then all these people, I mean, I got to meet a lot of them again on Wednesday at an investor meeting, and it was really cool to shake hands with people that were just as excited as me for Barbell Lounge, saying, can't wait to get this open, I can't wait to make this international.
Do you ever again, I'm just kind of speculating, do you notice the difference between when you were at the previous gym, obviously where I met you, where you'd wake up kind of dreading the drive there, knowing that you were going to see people you liked, but knowing that it was not a long-term thing, and that it was crashing down, and then you were going to leave, and it wasn't what you wanted, you had a dream elsewhere. Is there a difference between waking up and driving to the gym then versus now when you're driving towards your dream now? Even when you're working at the other gym while you're building this dream, do you have that gratitude of, I remember where I was 2 years ago versus where I am now, and this is where I didn't think I'd ever be?
Yes, is short answer. What I'd also say is it's made me realise that part of the reason why I think I stayed longer at where I was because a little bit of arrogance. I thought I could change their mind. I was like,
a challenge.
Because what I'm doing with my new brand is what I wanted to do with them. And I gave them the ideas and I sold them the dream.
They were never going to be that.
But no, they're and that's where I learned a lot.
They won't even get a fucking proper chest press machine.
Still not got one. Still not got a chest press.
No, I did the poll and I showed them the results and they were like, brilliant, yeah, put the order in. But
nothing. They've not added any equipment to the gym in a long time.
No.
Wankers.
And, you know, I've kind of discussed it with you guys off air and just said like the timing of me leaving that project was, there came a point in time, and it was probably about a year or so ago, where I thought, this is not the end game anymore. And I had to come to terms with that.
It was the job, not the career.
Yeah, that's when you're saying like, does it feel different? It yes, but I think what was really hard for me was to start with, it didn't feel like that. And then it became a job. And then it became the uncertainty of like, it got so rogue and random that I just didn't know what I was walking into every day. And I was like, that's entrepreneurship. Like, you guys know it well. Like, the challenges every day are very different. You don't know what you're walking into. I like those problems. What I don't like is when other people are creating problems that don't need to be created, but because they can't get out of their own way. And I was like, I got fed up of just people just throwing all their insecurities, dick swinging, power moves. Like, I can deal with that in spits and spurts. So when it just gets progressively worse and worse and worse, it just got to a critical mass. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm no longer being recognised or rewarded for the hard work I put in, and I had no prospects for the future. So I was just like, I'm now going to go and do this for myself because I know I can. I've got the receipts to prove it.
Yeah, of course.
And within 4 months of putting the business plan together, I found the money.
Turnaround was quick.
Yeah. And then I say to Lauren and Jess, I'm just like, wow, we got so lucky. And then they turn around and go, fuck you, no, we didn't get lucky.
No, you did a lot of work.
Yeah. Like opportunity, preparedness, they came together, and then that's where the luck came in. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Like that's
you manifest your own luck.
It's actually since I started putting this on, it was so funny because I got this bought for me, and I was like, this is not going to work. And
the bracelet.
Yeah. I don't actually know what all the different ones are, but I know that the green ones are to do with money and success.
Do you remember there was a time when like golfers and other athletes were wearing these bracelets with a magnet?
Yeah, the balancing.
What the fuck was that?
That doesn't work.
What the fuck was that?
No. I forget what they're called, but I
remember that where it was like
disc.
a band with like a little
circular disc.
It had a little holographic disc in it.
With a magnet, I think, that basically...
And then like, you put it on, look how well you balance now.
I bet whoever made that got a bare money very quickly.
They made loads.
So, yes, I'm good.
So you're worn, okay. But you're like worn out, drained by it, but for a good reason.
I think it's different when you know that it's going to build something which is going to pay off in the end.
It's going to benefit you. The
You're building a future.
I sit there and look at the business plan, and we got the 5 and the 7 year, and I look not just at the financials and think like that's my pie. Like I don't just get little crumbs.
No, but it's about.
But then also, so that's nice.
Building the dream.
But then it's also for me, and I've always said this to my business partners: is yes, I want to work with you guys, but the main thing for me is creative control, because that was.
Well, you said that about the previous gym, that they took that from you.
They started to take it away and siphon it off, and like I don't mind if someone comes along and does something better than me. In fact, I encourage it. Like ask any of the people that have ever worked for me. I'm open-minded. If someone comes to me with an idea and I'm like, that's way better than how I did it, go ahead, run with it, and I will give you the props and like, no, this was their thing. But when someone takes something away from me and then does a worse job and then still tries to make out that it's my fault, I'm just like, do you want me to strangle you? Because I will strangle you.
Welcome to the grown-up business world where people just fuck you over.
Yeah. And like I learned, I mean, China was hard enough.
Oh shit.
Like that, doing that in another language at 26 was just like a big learning curve for me.
Bizarre.
I actually have a Dragon Fitness tote bag at home that I just store some bits of paper in.
Oh,
and I looked at it the other day and I was like, damn, I did that. I went
Dragon Fitness.
Yeah, I know.
Cool name.
That's very on brand for China.
I'll bring it next time you guys can see it.
I like that. That's good.
But yeah, now it's all for myself, so it feels good. Don't feel drained from it, even though it's longer hours.
It's more excitement.
Well, you're stimulated, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, there we go. It's like what we said before. It's a bit ADHD-like, isn't it? Where you'll throw every hour you have at something that you're passionate and stimulated by. Whereas if it's draining you, then you're just going to be paralysed by it, aren't you?
Definitely.
So it's exciting. Hopefully, end of September, he said.
There you go.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see.
So if you're in the Mainhead area, please come to the gym.
It will happen in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's happening this summer, basically.
The main thing, with it is the lead time for some equipment. That would be the thing.
That's unpredictable, though.
Yeah, because obviously, I don't know if you guys have noticed what's happening in the world at the moment. Although it's
all a bit of shitter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, a gym in I think it's Manchester.
Don't try and look at the Titanic anytime soon.
Yeah, I think a gym in Manchester had put in a Prime order for probably Prime equipment in October, and I saw them post on their thing today saying it's going to be here in 8 weeks, and they ordered it back in October. It's going to be nearly a year.
The company that I went through to maybe get some stuff, which I will do for Barber Lounge at some point, they were like, it's like a 48-week lead time.
Yeah, that's pretty much how long they would have been waiting, about 48 weeks. Because Prime's
Prime. Yeah. But all the big brands are like that. Arsenal Strength are like that.
Who are you going for equipment this time?
So we've gone for a mix. So it's so it's like Hammer Strength, Arsenal, Prime.
Yeah, love it.
Nautilus, Atlantis.
Kind of want the gym joint do a bit where they just get kind of find kit that whoever is made by, that's like, so that brand makes a really good this.
Correct.
That one.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. And actually, I spoke to a Matrix representative yesterday, and she was like, "Yeah, fair. Like the big gym solutions, they're good for people that just need a tick in the box of like, I need a leg press." And but actually, it is better to go, I need that from there.
Well, that's the thing is,
from there.
I've seen gyms that like only Prime, but there are some Prime bits of a kit that I actually just didn't like, to be honest.
Yeah,
like the Prime shoulder press, for example, on them, I actually much prefer the Atlantis one. And I even said to Ryder when we went to Manchester for Nationals last year.
The performance.
The gym we went to. I don't remember even saying like, I know everyone. I think I prefer this from Prime, but actually for the shoulder press, I actually prefer Atlantis.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost, if you commit to only Prime, you're going to be what I would deem to be a lesser shoulder press because you just wanted to stay on brand. I think it's actually a good idea of saying this brand makes this really well. This does this. This does this. Let's get all the best bits.
And you need 10 pieces for you to be an accredited.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And what's in them the same?
An affiliate.
Yeah,
but that's
the like you need more than 60% of your kit needs to be us.
It's how they about that.
Yeah, it's how they upsell, saying you can be a Watson facility if you do this. It's like, I don't think I want to be like Hammer. For example, Slough is a hammer strength facility because it's all hammer strength. That's a few things.
Is that Olympian?
No, that's Activate. Activate.
Olympian's the same. They're a hammer strength. As well.
But even then,
who cares?
Yeah, like
the members don't care. The members don't care. Like, they're just going to go whoever has the best machine that does the best thing.
Like I go to the gym joint for legs because they've got far more leg equipment than Slough does. They've got every leg curl, multiple extensions, pendulum, hacksaw, loads of things. But I go to Slough for like upper body or chest days and stuff because they've got 4 different chest presses.
Go to Slough,
then I go to East Park on a Saturday because it's kind of shoulders and arms. I don't really need any fancy kit. I can just kind of do whatever, but it's more like a social day. I'm not really in as much of a rush. Or on the Saturday I'll go to another gym completely in Southampton and wherever. Just because why not? It's like a free day. Just because, but I wish I could only go to one gym because it had all of what I needed rather than having to have 3 different memberships. That's bloody annoying.
That is annoying.
But
hopefully Mike will open that
one day.
One day.
Give me time.
Luckily, I still don't pay for East Park gym membership.
You're welcome, by the way.
Well, I had to pay for it a bit. Then G put me on her friends and family. So firstly, thank you for that. Then I paid for it for a bit, and then G put me on friends and family because I actually got on really well. I actually sound like we're like that. But she's like, I don't really have any friends and family in the area that go to the gym, so she was like, do you want it?
That was nice of her.
Oh yeah, it was really nice of her. It was really friendly of her. I was like, oh, that's amazing, thanks.
Chris is like, but I didn't get it, so
yeah, serves you right.
I'm not interested.
But I still have to pay for 2 other gym memberships, which I'd rather just pay for one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'd rather you paid for one.
Same.
Anyway.
Hello.
Is there anything else? Oh, we should probably say that we need to reinvigorate the Q&A side of our
we do.
Definitely
stuff.
Yeah.
All my ear hurts. Ask us questions, please.
Yeah, so as before, if you do want to ask any questions or raise any topics, so we will answer your questions, we will discuss your topics. If you have any interesting gym stories or confessions,
especially confessions, they're funny.
Oh, confessions are brilliant.
Please go to our Instagram account, which is Pump Fiction Pod, and Mike will try and keep that up to date.
Provided it doesn't take away from what you're trying to achieve in your own life.
I can
don't let it negatively impact your mental health.
Yeah, we all need to do a little bit here and there.
No more spicy brains. Joke, we'll have spicy brains.
Spicy brains. We're getting spicier by the episode, it would seem, as revelations drop. But yeah,
like a woodpecker. Yeah,
so do go to the contact form. The link is in the bio on Pump Fiction Pod Instagram account. And yeah, we will endeavour to talk about all the topics you want us to talk about. But this has been a bit of a spicy brain special.
A reintroduction to Pump Fiction in another new location.
Yeah, we keep basically relaunching this show. When are we recording next is the question. 2 weeks from today?
Should we say? Yeah. Should we aim to get at least an episode a month?
At least, yeah.
But try and get 2.
We were really good at one point.
We do it weekly for one.
No, we weren't doing it weekly. We were
every other week.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yeah.
Well, obviously, Mike's got a lot going on with obviously the gym literally pending opening quite soon. We'll aim for 2 a month, but we'll do at least 1 a month until we have more solid schedules and we can then make it a bit more consistent. As long as it's not.
We're good. Yeah. You guys good? Everyone listening and watching, you good?
I've got an itchy nose.
We do appreciate you hanging around and also pestering us to record more episodes. It's good to be with you boys.
Yeah, it's good to be with you.
Cool. We're just getting more well-rounded as individuals. We're growing as people. It's the rich tapestry of
Tren.
I could do with some drugs. I've got a 10k race in 10 days time.
Don't think Tren's going to help you there.
Drugs would be really useful.
BPC.
What's
BPD?
BPT,
to help you there.
It's BPC 471. It's a peptide.
Peptide.
What drugs do the runners take that would be
not Tren?
Definitely not Tren.
What's good? Anyone?
I actually don't know what runners.
Probably Psalms.
Yeah. You
need what the CrossFits take. Psalms, basically.
I need to listen to Dwayne Chambers' podcast. Apparently, he talks about all the drugs he used to have to take, which is quite interesting. So I'll probably do that. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to do drugs. All right. I'm just going to be really fucking tired when I do it. I did a 10k in the blazing sun a couple of weeks ago, and it was the Dorney Lake 10k.
Oh yeah, I know Dorney Lake well.
And it was 26 degrees. With no shade, I nearly I wanted to pass out.
So it's literally just a lake with no. Yeah. Like the woodland is outside. No, there is. It's well beyond. It's just open field.
Just running down the side of the Olympic rowing track.
Yeah, I used to go there a lot for school.
It's horrendous. I got a medal though, so that's fine. Cool. I think I came.
The clubhouse is nice though.
I came 16th.
That's good. Out of how many?
Like I don't
16.
know. Like 50. Like 250.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Well done. Good shit.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, so I'm still persevering running. I've signed up to the Amsterdam Marathon in October.
Oh, cool. We're going to Amsterdam.
You can come and you're more than welcome to come to Amsterdam.
No smoking marijuanas, please. No doing drugs.
Get popped.
So yeah, I'm persevering with the running thing. I think it actually helps me to be honest. I think I need to go. I'm supposed to go for a run after you guys leave this evening, actually.
Yeah, do it.
Well, get it done. Let's go.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've chatted too much. We've rambled on. We'll get some format back. We'll get but I feel this has been a very enjoyable chat about ourselves and our minds and our spicy brains, as Harry says. So from one spicy brain to many others, thank you for listening. Say good night, both of you two.
Good night, both of you two.
That's funny.
But
Bye.
As always, if you want to follow us, he is radical.mike. I still remember that.
There we go.
He is Harry_TFNL, and I'm Chris D. Fellows.
And obviously Pump Fiction Pod
And
as well.
Pump Fiction Pod. But other than that, this has been episode 19.
19,
and it's been an
Lucky
absolute
number 19.
pleasure, and we grow as people. See you later.
Bye.